Hello.
Oops, I forgot to update the titles. Well, here we are. Live. Again. Day 4. AM. Not PM. All right. Let's go. So, last time we were here, we got some UI stuff done for networking. We got syncing of the units, player joining the lobby. We got some multiplayer queue. We got responding to the player. And I think it's time to make the UI rendering aspect of the game so that I can print stuff on the screen in the module. Because right now these are printed on the game world, player exist, and server. Whereas if I had it printed on the screen, when I move it would stay stationary, which is kind of what I would plan on doing for the UI. This is easy to do. So in the engine, in our rendering loop, we render to a render texture, and we draw it down. Yeah, we draw it here. There's some like jumping jumps going on here. Oh yeah, to flip things around and scale it. So I would do the same thing for the front layer. And I would probably just draw on it, really. Because it's not going to use a camera. But I could use a camera. I should set up the camera. Okay, so we're going to make a UI space camera. That'll probably never move. We need to make another render texture. We'll call this UI. I'll just follow all the steps that the old one's doing. Also just ensure we get the same scaling. Okay, what do we got here? Source rec, target rec, we don't need that. Unload render texture, let's do that. Okay, so here's rendering happens, but there's also a method that does the drawing to it. And that is in the VM call. So we could do something like this. And we could do UI. Oops. Do UI virtual texture, and then we could use UI camera. Clear background. And instead of call UI or this CL render, we could do UI render. Okay, and then we're almost there. We now need to go down here to where we're drawing it. So we're doing drawings. here, and we get down to here, and we got end drawing. So I don't want the UI of the game to overlap the UI of the engine. So I would take from here to here. And then I would draw here. And this would be UI space camera, UI virtual. There we go. So UI space camera, we're drawing to that. So that's rendering the texture, that's fine. And then that'll draw it in front of it. It'll draw that scale. And here's where the drawing happens. So let's take this. So we got game core render, which we should make game core UI render. Where we got two of these? Oh, and Raylib source? That makes no sense. Okay. I'm just do this. Interesting. Did I write this wrong? Okay, I don't care about that one. So I gotta delete this duplicate here. That's in somehow got into the Raylib project. Okay, yeah. By the time we get here, it's actually a thing. Okay. Let's just do something really big. Okay, that should work. And in here, just get rid of the declarations. And these things are going to get called earlier, so I don't even need to do any of that. Okay, so now I should be having something draw here. No, nothing happened. So let's see. We are in UI render. And what's interesting is that. Okay, let me just think for a moment. What am I missing? Oh, you know what? I think I know what I'm missing. I've got everything set up but the VM call in the render method. No, it's right here. I wonder if I'm doing something with world space camera that I need to do with UI space camera. Begin 2D mode. Begin UI space mode. We're just drawing the textures. And then if I do UI virtual here, we're drawing to that texture, or we're rendering that texture. We're loading it, unloading it. We're beginning texture mode here. It makes it, yeah, because you get the output message. So I'm thinking it's my trap functions for draw rectangle might have a problem. Also, they might not be big enough. Let's make them huge. Yeah, see, that worked. Yeah, something wasn't compiled. Yeah. What's wrong now is it's not drawing over. So it's actually we shouldn't be drawing over. So interesting. Yeah, it's drawing a texture the same size and completely smothering it. And I was thinking it would just draw on top. So actually, if I want to draw to the UI, I need to not draw to a render texture. I need to draw down here directly. So it's not going to happen like this. It would happen like this. And just draw to the screen. Instead of this, go like that. But now it's going to be a different size. But hey, let's take a look. Because one's going to be scaled. Yeah, so this is, it's not scaled. So if I want to scale it, I'll have to do a little bit of thinking about that. Because I imagine if you clear with a transparent color, say I do this again. Okay. So need to get rid of this here. Yo, welcome back, Knox. Okay, so I've rendered it as, or I've done a clear transparent. So now we're gonna add that back. Wait, what? Yeah. So we're gonna add it back. There we go. So then you see how that's moving? That's great. And it didn't block out all of the other stuff, so it worked how I wanted it to. So now the next step, next test, is to get rid of the big box, but draw some text on the screen. Draw that text the same way I draw any other text, and verify that it's the same size. Okay, we got the text at the top left, and that's good. So I'm going to do a little bit of testing here of hot swapping. Okay, so I've got this here. I'm going to move this main window over here, and we'll just change base to Fort. Okay, it says Fort now. Let's move it down 500. And it should, yep, it should stay on the screen. Look at that. Okay, and then we'll change this to blue, and we'll have the one on the left be yellow. And then see what happens. Great. Okay, now we have on-screen UI. So now the next step would be to start drawing some of that. But look at this. We've got our UI render set up. And that was one of the things. Make to-dos, finish to-dos. That's all I'm doing. Making to-dos and finishing them. So we could do stuff like make a menu now, which we couldn't do before. We'll probably would benefit from here. Let me add another section. Like, I don't know. I guess we could start having these things be the category of things. Gameplay, UI, and then we could just put menus in there. Gameplay, and just think them through a little bit. Gameplay, obviously, we need key bindings, but that's going to be under menus. RTS and fighting modes, gameplay, room traversal, AI. That is not what we're working on. Basic monster. Let's enhance this. This is a goblin that you can kill. It attacks. It needs to attack, and a little bit of pack animal mentality. So they run away if you kill the leader, right? Simple battle between. That's like a big picture thing. We don't want big picture things to get into here. We want stuff that I could do like fast, like shorter streams like this, for example, because I'm going to be on for another 15. That would be my approach on that. All right. Let's see. Anything else I want to add before I move on? Okay. These are done. Why do I need a done column all the way there? I don't. It's nice to know to like remember what I did, but I like this. I want this to be what I finished today, and then everything else can be from the past. So then when I start the stream, I can talk about what I did yesterday. And just to make this even better, let's edit. There's a command to not show completed items. It's funny. This is like one of those apps where it's like good and then it's not good. It like works and then it doesn't work. I feel like they move stuff around. Whatever. Oh, is it in here? Yeah, finally. Okay, good. So I got rid of the completed stuff. I like the completed stuff being show up, but it's a big mess. I've got way more stuff done anyways. So we got that done. Log buffers are kind of a it's in a later, but I need a new category for log buffers. And we'll put this back here. So I imagine I'll just drag back and forth for this. And I wonder, ooh, there we go. That makes this even better. So I can add another section and keep growing this. Something that I've noticed with the networking that needs to be dealt with is when the second player, so the person who's not the server, clicks his attack, Also, he doesn't spawn right, but he clicks his attack. It only sometimes shows up. And it's getting overridden. And I gotta figure out why. But it doesn't make sense that it's getting overridden because I'm not changing this value. So I need to figure out why the client's data is getting overwritten. It'll probably be in my network code somewhere, but it's not making sense. So we'll do player server update position. That's all I'm sending in that packet. That's wrong. I sent so much more in this packet. No, that's all I sent. If I'm a client, I send to the server my position. Great. This is the one I have more, but there's nothing in here that says that I have to mess other things up. So there is something wrong with this game state units update. Let's see. Yeah, I'm only updating the position. No, I'm doing everything else. So then what would be setting my trigger time backwards? Because here, when I click as a server, it stays for a bit. It might be in my update loop. Which I was in. Somewhere in here there could be the problem. It triggers when you press the left click. And then there's these countdowns. Yeah, be attack triggered. You only can do that if your attack is not triggered. And then we go through this. If it's a triggered, then it will cause an interaction. That interaction is not getting reported back to the server because the server doesn't know that it's happening. Server should be mostly the owner, and then the client should be able to try to report, and the server can verify if it was even possible. Not yet. So attack. And when we attack, this happens. We got some updates. Okay, so it was that code up here. So when I attack when the attack's triggered, this stays on. Timers go across. Interesting. Okay. So what's happening is the unit that I'm creating, I don't think its attack timer is being sent, and we're not initializing it. So let me see where that's being set here when create unit. But when I go and I send unit data out to the client, it's not getting it. So there's all this stuff here, and all I'm sending when I create a unit is the unit, and then I'm turning it on, but there's some initialization here that's not happening for the type of unit. So I need to create something that initializes that type of unit. So create unit makes it, and then we could have another one that just says like change unit or set unit. There we go. So it's just the same logic, except we get rid of all of this and we get the unit at the index, take in an index. Great. Do all this, and then this can never happen. The NEID is the index, so that can't happen. Okay. Or if it does, it's going to be in a fun scenario. All right. So then in the client code where we're receiving, our unit data and setting things up, we also need to set the unit. So that's going to be in the multiplayer code. Here, no. Okay, we're just going to do server to client. It's always rough when you're in the middle of a problem. So update client position's not it. It's here. We get them to a certain point. Internal entity ID from peer ID. I feel like this, I've used this near. So client update position, attempt lobby. We get into the lobby. Send packet to client. We'll just look at the packets I'm sending. Game state, units. The units get updated. No, we're sending them their entity ID. So there has to be a packet where we're sending the entity ID. It's not in DLL main, it's going to be in here. That's server. So client is going to see, update entity ID. So then we set its entity ID. It finds out it's dead. Oh yes, the server should respawn it, but then the server needs to. Where's man? You just got to send the whole thing, the whole unit. Because I'm not sending a signal that you respond. This would be the wrong way to do it. That would be the wrong way to do it. I just want to test it and verify that. That's why things aren't working right. Oof. Hello, big man. How you doing? That is a weird thing to say. Okay, what is it suggesting here? Yep, bye. I don't like any subtle creepy behavior on the internet. It's gross. Problem is, like, it's a full first name, female, full last name. Like, not good. Anyways, I'm gonna head out now though. So I did get what I needed done to start. I got the UI rendering. I'm in the middle of this here. Fix the unit data. So that should be good. The place where I put that thing is just wrong. So fix unit timers when created from server. Probably just a full update. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll probably be on tomorrow morning. See ya.